Hey guys, I just wanted to do a little face-to-face introduction video for you so that you have a face to put to the name. I'm Leslie. I'm your instructor for Bio 212. I assume all of you in this class are medical assisting students, as this is the bio or pharmacology for medical assisting. So we're going to spend the next 8 weeks together going through anything related to medicine, administration, basic information about medications, how medications are supplied, as well as some math to get you through part of the duties of your job. So a little bit of background about me. I have worked as a pharmacist since 2009. I started off in Walgreens for about 3 years, and then I transitioned into hospital pharmacy with St. Peter's, and I started out there in the IV room. Basically, in the IV room, we're responsible for compounding medications, putting colorless liquids into more colorless liquids and sending them out. We did a lot of dosage calculations, compatibility checks, interaction checks, and basically just kept the patient safe as much as we could regarding their IV therapy. I transitioned into what is called the satellite pharmacy that services the operating rooms at St. Peter's, and I was primarily responsible for the critical care areas in that position. My most recent role in St. Peter's, I kind of like to bounce around and get some exposure all over the hospital. My most recent role is in the emergency department, and I have a feeling I'm going to be there for a while because I do love it. In the emergency department, we are responsible for basically running a consult service. Anything the doctors need, if they have questions, if they need a recommendation on antibiotics, if they need our help intubating a patient and they want medications drawn up and handed over, that is our job. So it's a little bit more hands-on, it's a lot more patient contact and working as a team with the doctors, nurses, and physician assistants and nurse practitioners. So I've had a lot of different experiences as far as pharmacy goes, so hopefully any questions you guys have, I'll be able to help answer. I have a little bit of experience as an emergency medical technician, and I work closely with nurses, so I kind of have a great understanding of what their job scope is and what they do. We do have techs, which I assume would be similar to what a medical assistant would do. Techs are responsible for taking blood pressures, getting vital signs, possibly helping the nurse with whatever they need, doing EKGs, sometimes blood draws, starting an IV line. They're just kind of a great pair of hands to have around to help with whatever is going on. So that's a little bit about me. In the introductory forum in the first week, you guys will get to tell me a little bit about you. And I do read every one of them. I reply to every one of them. So feel free to tell me anything you want. And to jump into the first week, we will be doing the introductory forum. You'll be responsible for a syllabus quiz where you look at the syllabus and answer a few questions just to make sure that you've read it and you understand it. And then we will also have a week 1 assignment, which will be a Word document that you will open up. You will answer the questions on your computer, you'll save it, and then resubmit it in the same place in week 1. This is pretty much the same thing every week. We're going to have a forum, an assignment, and possibly a test when we get to the end of a chapter. So the end of the chapter hits at week 4. That's the end of chapter 30. The end of chapter 31 hits at week 6, and the end of chapter 32 is week 7, and then you'll have a final in week 8. So again, every week, a forum, an assignment, and possibly a test. The forum is your chance to get your thoughts out there, to sort of start a discussion with myself and your classmates. You're responsible for creating an original post to answer the question that I put forth, and that has to be at least 250 words. I do take off points for subpar answers. Like if I can tell you just didn't really put your heart into it, or if it's less than 250 words, you will not get full credit. I don't care if there are grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes, but what I do care is that it looks like you thought about the question and that you put some effort into answering it. You then, once people have started to put their posts in, you will then choose 2 posts from your classmates, and you will write at least a 100-word response. And I want to see more than just, I agree, or I think this is a great idea. Why do you agree? And why do you think it's a great idea? Or why do you disagree? And why might it not be a great idea? Try to keep it civil and professional. And other than that, just enjoy sort of the online discussion. So online classes can be intimidating. the pros. You don't have to show up to class. You can wear whatever you want, be it your pajamas, your workout clothes, your street clothes, what have you. You show up when you want to show up. The cons of online classes, the downfall is that you have to be self-motivated. You have to set a time aside to start working and then decide when you're going to stop working. And you're responsible for making sure that your work gets done every week. Nobody's going to be there telling you, hey, you didn't turn this in, or you missed this, or, this is due in 2 hours, you better get to it. So you kind of have to be a little bit more self-motivated than you would in a regular class that meets 3 times a week. Tests and technology in general. Let's talk about the test. When you go into, so I talked about Moodle. Let's back up for a minute. I talked about Moodle a little. Moodle is where we're going to submit our assignments, submit our forum discussions, and also where our PowerPoint discussion or PowerPoint presentations are going to be. And on those PowerPoint presentations, you will hear my voice kind of giving you a little weekly lecture for the assigned reading. This is Ella. She is so sweet. So that's all on Moodle. PowerPoint, forum, assignments, right? All on Moodle. Easy to figure out. We have an extra website called MindTap, and that's where our tests and some extra credit, sort of helpful hints, assignments will be. But primarily tests. That is the most important thing on there. When you go into MindTap to take a test, you will have a set amount of time, and I believe most of them are set to it's not that long because most of the tests aren't that long, but most of them have a set time, and it'll tell you the time when you open up the test. You have, let's say you open up the test at noon, you have X amount of time. So if the time is 2 hours, you have until 2 p.m. to complete that test. That does not mean that you close that test out and you come back to it later. It will not be open. I will not reopen it for you unless you have some amazing excuse, like my house blew up in the middle of the test. So once you open that test, be committed to finishing it. The syllabus does talk about late policies. I try to be strict because if I start making exceptions for one person, I have to make exceptions for everybody. So I try to stick to it. Now again, if you have some outstanding problem, excuse, thing that came up, I am flexible and I will work out a makeup schedule for you. But the one thing you can never make up are forums. That's considered your participation grade, and if you are not there to submit it that week, it cannot be made up. So try to be as on time as you can, but if life gets in the way, I do understand, as long as your excuse is valid and it's not just, I forgot. So this is all about being responsible, being motivated, being driven, and getting your work done. Work starts on Monday morning, crack of dawn, whenever you get up, and it is due by Sunday at midnight. That does not mean at 12:01, 12:02. That means at midnight. I will submit grades usually Monday or Tuesday. This module I have a lot more hand grading. I decided to give myself a lot more work to do, and I'll be hand grading all of your assignments. So it might be a little later, but I'm going to try to keep it on time. I hope that answers all of your questions. I did mention extra credit. There's a couple crosswords that are going to be considered extra credit, and if you are struggling, I will consider possibly an assignment or an extra sort of little test quiz thing to get you up there. I don't want to see anybody fail. I'd love to have a 100% passing rate. It never happens. Somewhere along the way, somebody can't stick with the class or just decides it's not for them. So I understand, but my goal is to get you through this class, get you a good grade, make you happy, keep you educated, and make you realize how important medications are in the world of medicine and like healthcare in general. I can always be contacted via email. I answer that very quickly. If you leave me messages on Moodle, I don't check those too often, so just be aware that I might not get them. I live in Albany, or near Albany, the Albany campus. So if you are on that campus, I can certainly meet up with you to tutor or discuss or whatever it is that you need. But if you're on the Metro campus, it would have to be either a Skype or a FaceTime or something like that. When we get to the math portion, some people struggle with this. It should be relatively straightforward. It should look very much like high school algebra. If you struggle with math, do not wait for help. There are 2 weeks of math and conversions and all that good stuff. So if you struggle with math, contact someone at the school early. There should be tutors available. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great mod. You'll hear my voice on the videos through PowerPoint, but this will be the only video I do. So good luck. Contact me anytime with questions, and see you at the end of 8 weeks. Good night, guys.